Well, some interesting developments there with fan formula. Might be able to take part in that if I can find out a way on my schedule, see how things are looking. But anyhow, on to this week's fan formula questions. Yes, no longer supported by Group Lotus. I see. Obviously, Group Lotus were sold on to another Malaysian-based company, with Danny Bahar still being CEO of Group Lotus. I don't think it's going to be an impact on the short-term future of Lotus GP, because they've signed up both Microsoft and Unilever, so they've got two great sponsors there. Whether they're going to be able to amass another title sponsor remains to be seen. But as Ganai Capital's CEO Gerard Lopez actually said that it's best for Lotus to stay in Formula One, I think the impact will be obviously of a financial ramification. I mean, clearly, whether developments are going to be made in the mid-season, depending on that, obviously how much resource Ganai Capital are going to put into Lotus GP, that remains to be seen. My view of the situation, I think, is a bit sudden, especially after the debacle we had last year with Team Lotus and Lotus Renault having, a very public battle about the name Lotus. It's just, I think it's just gone a stage too far with the Enstone-based squad, and obviously they're now sort of paying the price, if you will. But it remains to be seen what happens with Lotus GP. My guess is probably as good as anybody's. Bahrain. In some respects, it's a bit of a shame when a race like Bahrain overshadows the week before, because I'm looking forward to a great race in China. And one of the things with all the political and with all the political goings on, obviously hunger strikes, people saying this, people saying that, it's a repeat of last year, people. It's like change the record. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not a political person. I never will be, I never have been, I never shall be. But if you're talking about the threat to human life, then it's a different matter. That's when people do get a bit more opinionated. And the thing is that when you put people's lives in danger and something happens, especially if it happens in F1, if there are, if someone fires off a weapon and it inadvertently, hits, somewhere on the circuit where team personnel are involved, then we're going to have a tragedy of massive proportions, of such great ramifications. And the thing is that every person, it doesn't matter whether they're a driver, they're a chief engineer, a cook in the hospitality suite, it doesn't matter. They are part of the F1 working community, and if a tragedy was to happen, then obviously someone will end up with blood on their hands. But whether it's going to go ahead, I think we're going to know at China. So it just remains to be seen what's said and what's done about it. So really that's all I want to say on the matter, because I've already made my opinion, my feelings known on not just Alex's view. So that's where I stand with Bahrain. If it goes ahead, it's their decision. I'm not going to, I've said what I've needed to say. Yes, vive la France. Sorry, my French verbal skills coming out there. Yeah, I think really, I wouldn't mind either track hosting it. Paul Ricard has become, in the late 90s, Bernie Ecclestone bought out Paul Ricard and made it into one of the most expensive race test facilities in the world, with the biggest runoff areas, and the amount of blue and pink, purple runoff areas, different asphalts. But obviously you get places like, series like, Formula Renault, World Series by Renault is a regular visitor every year. So that would be a good track to go to. Magny-Cours has its ups and downs. I think like every track, it's each one has their own positives and their own negatives. But I mean, if someone was to ask me which French track would you like to see, and it's a place I've actually visited, Clermont-Ferrand in the south of France, just a really, really nice place. Held a Grand Prix, if you're not aware of your nostalgia, in the 1960s. So that would be quite an interesting one, seeing how a modern F1 car is able to cope with the demands of a road track, but nothing that's designed by Hermann Tilke. I've got nothing against Tilke because he's a great designer, but there are times when you think, let's get the guys into a different atmosphere. And a road track would be fantastic. It's sort of like do a bit of an IndyCar, if you will. Sorry about using that term, it might be a swear word. Right, okay. Blogs, tweeters that I follow, people that write. I'm a person. I mean, I could recommend a lot of sites, but the list would be as long as my arm. So I'll just give out 3 mentions really. Will Buxton. Yes, there are some people out there who don't like Will. I think at the end of the day, he's got a right to an opinion like anybody else. Yes, he's employed by ESPN Speed. And obviously after the Sergio situation, he was quite a bit outspoken, but he's apologised for it. I actually read a really, really nice piece that he did, and it was all about the first test in Jerez for Formula 1. And there was a really, really great bit in there, and it said standard drink at testing, polystyrene cup, coffee, white, 2 sugars. Now, something like that where it's just direct and to the point and tells you exactly what you need to know. I mean, Will's a great guy. He's very knowledgeable in what he does, and he's going to be doing this job for years to come, guys. So I don't care whether you like him or not. I mean, I'm not opinionated about whether people do or don't like certain journalists. It's neither here nor there. We're all, and us people out here, us people on the internet community, we want to be part of that. Yes, but just because he's outspoken doesn't mean you have to take initial offence to him. But that's just my opinion. That's just me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's why I've got the view, because people have a right to their opinion, and it just means that not just my voice is heard. Another site that I do read, and is one that I'm a part of now, the guys at richlandf1.com. Big props out to the team, including Luke Smith, Ernie Black, aka Gogs on F1, the creator of Fan Formula herself, Grace F1 Fanatic, Real Trent Price. There's so many different people I can mention on there, but that's another great site. I'm a part of, and I'm in the Nostalgia editor, and I can officially announce now that I'm one of the deputy editors for the project as well. So really, really excited about that. Grace's blog, the rights formula, I do read whenever I can. That's a great one. There are just so many good ones. Marshall GP, my good friend Gary Marshall, he's doing Paddock Life because he's now working for MSO, which is a media logistics company. So he's been at Brands Hatch, Alton Park. I think he's going to go to Snetterton at some point. So going all around the country. So there we go. But that's really my answers to this week's Fan Formula. Looking forward to next week with regards to China. See you guys then. Bye.